Let's have another look. Oh, it was off his shoulder, wasn't it? Very good balanced game this. Now Canada, can they follow out this half with another score?
Well, Canadian confidence will be growing. Good shove though from the France pack. Monroe. That's meant for Mackenzie. Claire's underneath it. And I think that went off the Canadian hand. It did indeed. And there's Phil Mackenzie. Plays for Isha, as does his brother, who's also a member of this squad. Jamie, he's the scrum half. Number 2, in fact number 3 here actually.
Yeah, I would like to see Mackenzie jump up for that ball and actually got it back. Look at the number of Canadian shirts that were there.
Lishlovsky of Toulouse claiming the ball. And once again, France finding themselves in their own 22. There's Servat.
White thread.
Para on his preferred left boot. There's Mackenzie. Wrapped up by Van Sinclair, who hacks it forward. Picked up by Pritchard. He's found a bit of space. Cross comes Damien Try. And Try, who has one of the biggest boots in European rugby. And Canada have come offside. I think it was Chauncey O'Toole who was... there he is. Picked out by Craig Joubert.
Tranduk looking to put the ball down into that touchline, and it's so important. Such a feature of many of the games in this Rugby World Cup is the teams that score around this period of time. The 5 minutes to go, we saw this afternoon Samoa come back and score a try against Wales. How important could that have been? But it was Wales who then came out on top on that game. And France, well, now they've got an opportunity to maybe stick another 3 points on the board, either through a penalty, either through a drop goal, but they also have the ability through this pack of forwards to get over the Canadian line.
It's been a remarkable weekend. Could it come to an end with perhaps the biggest story of all? There goes Picamoll. Has the ball in his hands, but he's got himself a penalty. He'll keep hold of this. He'll be looking for the kicking tee now.
And it's funny, I'm sure as a coach, Kieran Crowley, of course, the former All Black, it's desperately frustrating for coaches sometimes to give away a penalty like that so close to half-time.
Yes, Kieran Crowley, 19 caps for New Zealand, played and coached on the other side of the country at New Plymouth with Taranaki.
Yeah, you may have heard Ryan Smith saying that he was a bit trapped in there. And Joubert said, well, pull your legs out. Try and make the effort. I think if there's intent to go get away from the ball, then you're not going to get penalised. So Para has an opportunity to nudge one over.
Perfect so far, 2 from 2. Almost straight in front. Well, about 33, 34 metres. And he maintains his 100% record. France have edged in front.
I'm sure going in at half-time, Canada undoubtedly will come out in the second half full of confidence. They're not afraid of this French team. France, though, they'll want to impose themselves far more up front on this Canadian 8.
Well, omens for Canada are good at McLean Park in Napier. They played here back in 1987 in their opening game in the Rugby World Cup. They beat Tonga 33 points to 4. There haven't been too many internationals played since. The All Blacks won here 51-10 against Samoa. That was in 1996, but most of the international sport here since has been of the cricketing variety.
Well, James Pritchard there jogging back. And of course, he has missed 2 penalties. Good took take by Ander Monroe, under pressure. Clark straight up on his feet. Vincent Clare straight on his feet, but Pritchard had come in from an offside position. And Morgan Parra has an opportunity to add another 3 points.
Thanks, Matty.
It's another very clean contact. 4 out of 4 for the little scrum half. All in the garden is rosy for Morgan Parra. They lead now by 6.
Well, we talked, what, 3 minutes ago about going into half-time, 10-all. France have just nudged ahead with 2 late penalties.
Pape did well there. There goes Brooks. Ball not controlled.
Tackler assist.
Well, it's a penalty.
Daylight, clear release. I didn't see that.
Chauncey O'Toole thinks he's been dealt an injustice.
Yeah.
Duke misses touch. There's Pritchard.
Well, he's returned the ball with a bit of interest. Duke, though, missing touch. You know, another inexcusable one from a coach's perspective. That should just be meat and drink for a fly half, just dinking his forwards up front. They've got the throw in. And this man here, William Servat, he has played very well. He's carried the ball well. He's thrown the ball well at line-outs. He, for me, has been the solidity in this French team.
Fired down by Ouedraogo on his scrum half. Oh, terrific little offload. Vincent Clare right into the action again. There's Parra. Duke, Pape. Another big carry from the Stade Francais, lock forward. David Marty. We've certainly seen more of Marty than we have of Momoz so far. Another penalty. And more red jerseys offside.
And just a combination of penalties and ill discipline from Canada have just opened up the game to France. They've gifted them 3 penalties. They've gifted them 9 points. I'm sure Parra's going to nail this one as well. And suddenly Canada, from a position of being 10-all at half-time, and indeed with Pritchard's penalties, they could have been 16-10 ahead. They're actually 19 points to 10. They must be kicking themselves.
That was Pat Ryden, the Canada captain. So Parra takes his personal tally to 14 points. And in the last few minutes of that opening half, France have been allowed to open up a bit of a gap. Half-time in Napier, France lead by 9.
France 19, Canada 10 into the second half at Napier. Canada, like Samoa and Georgia earlier today, resilient so far in that first half, but 3 quick penalties from France in the last few minutes of that opening half. You start to fear a little bit for Canada now.
Canada have been competitive up to now, but I have to say France look in complete control, and I'm sure if you're the French coach in there, Mark Lever, want to be saying much more the same, please. If we can nick a try, then great, but otherwise, you know, let's just keep putting pressure on them.
They'll be trying to make a bit of a statement too.
Yeah.
You know, they've got the All Blacks next week. Bogey team for the All Blacks. You know, if they can put sort of 30, 40 points on a Canadian team that'll be struggling, having to back up after, you know, I think they'll sort of run out of a bit of gas in the second half. But yeah, the French could, you know,
I've been impressed with
shivers.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Morgan Perrin and Francois Trinduc. Their combination has put the forwards are running forward in very difficult conditions. Morgan Perrin has kicked all the goals, and he's been a little general behind the scrum. So Livremont, that's a big tick. These two guys, they can play any conditions, and they're comfortable in each other's presence.
OK, 19-10 into the second half at Napier. We're back with Scott Hastings and Martin Gilling.
So the team ranked 5 in the world, leading the team ranked 14. And I would have thought, Scott, the next 10 minutes or so, crucial for Canada. They must stop the bleeding, mustn't they?
Yeah, very much so. And, you know, they really should have gone in at half-time, 10 points all, but they succumbed to 3 penalties by Para. So, can Canada get themselves back in the game? What have France learned from that first 40?
Just a little bit of a knock-on there. That's all it takes from Julien Bonner. The weather report, well, it's certainly much better than it was an hour ago. The rain has stopped. There is still some surface water about around the perimeters.
Yeah, the 2 key areas for me were the number of errors from France. They've got to eliminate that. I think that was up to 8. And the penalty account. 8 penalties against Canada. And that's ultimately what's cost them the scoreline so far.
So it's Fairhurst with the put-in. Solid Canadian scrummage. There's Munro. Van der Merwe. Van der Merwe, who, as his name would suggest, lived his early years in South Africa, in the Boerland. He went with his family to Canada when I think he was 15. Now playing his club rugby, though, in Scotland for Glasgow. There's McKenzie, half through. Good offload. Fairhurst back to Munro. Through goes Cudmore. Back to the fly half again. The ball hoisted, not really enough depth on that, but the referee's blown his whistle. And it's a Frenchman who's come offside, and it's Romain Miller-Schlusky. There he is.
Well, James Pritchard's got an opportunity to amend the 2 missed kicks that he missed in the first half. You can just see the big second row there from Toulouse just stepping out of line. Craig-Joubert straight away. And France have been so settled on their defensive alignment that really there was no need for him to come in off an offside position there.
Well, it was one of the directives from Paddy O'Brien, wasn't it? The offside line, and Romain Miller-Schlusky getting a good couple of metres in front of it there. So James Pritchard, only deadly off the kicking tee. In excess of 80% in the championship last season. Did well on the opening night against Tonga. And really, that was a snap hook, wasn't it? What a night on which to have a bad night.
Yeah, that's 9 points that Canada have left out there. He passes the ball back to Tronduc, and again, once again, the man from Montpellier will reset.
Good hang time on that. Well, that was superbly taken by Sinclair. There is the France 22. Fairhurst feeds his fly half Munro. There's Smith, the try scorer, the long pass. Gathered by Pritchard, who spins through the tackle. Smith again. Marshall. Well, the Canadians just getting in one another's way there. That was Hubert Bidens who was getting knocked off the ball. Munro, the attempt at the drop goal. He struck it nicely. And it's 3 points.
Well, Ander Munro, he missed one in the first half, but he struck it well. And that one, he got the direction there well. So they get the 3 points back. And Munro, who's actually played very well alongside his half-back partner, Ed Fairhurst, just claws back that scoreline. That looks a little bit more palatable from a Canadian perspective.
It's a rotten old night for a lot of people playing rugby here, but particularly for full-backs and half-backs as well. Parra and Tranduk did well in the first half. That was a great catch from Picamole. And Anna Munro has been working well with Fairhurst as well.